I think mainly it's me. I think I'm the problem.
You've been doing it for a long time and you're burnt out. Right now, we need you to show up to work and being happy about it.
I just want to introduce myself. Name's Juan Alvarado. I know we communicate a little bit there through Instagram. And I've been doing trees for a long time. It's kind of what I do. And, we're kind of at a slump where we're at, and a lot of that is, I think it has to do with me. So just trying to pick your brain a little bit on, some changes that I can do. Obviously, I've been following you for a while, not just on social media, but on YouTube.
So right now
So
you guys are doing trees in Sacramento. How many team members are with you now, Juan?
So right now we have one at the office who answers the phones. We have one guy who does 99% of our sales. So I kind of brought him along, taught him everything, and now he does all of our sales, like 99% of it. I do very little of it. And then out in the field, we're down to three, six, nine guys on the field. And then we have two guys that we do lawn maintenance. We have one crew that we do lawn maintenance that I kind of didn't want to do lawns because I mean, I can mow a lawn, I can, anybody can mow a lawn and stuff like that, but it's not my expertise at it. So we just did it because one of these customers pretty much begged us to do it. And I figured, okay, if I did one, I just sent out a couple emails and I filled out my day or my week for one crew, a two-man crew. So we do that. Now COVID, we were running a lot more. COVID, we were running five crews, and that's a three-man crew. But I think you and I know, and a lot of people know, COVID was, a special time. So I always tell everybody we skipped 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 seems like 2024 seemed like it would be 2020, right? Going from 19 to 2020, because we were running three crews in 2019. So to me, like it's just kind of started all over, and and we didn't struggle at all through COVID for no work. Like we were like, 4 months out, 5 months out, like everybody. If you weren't busy during COVID, you had a problem, you
Yeah.
know. But now we're back at okay. Now I gotta strategize again and figure out where do I want to go from here. A lot of it is being complacent, I think, and being comfortable of where I'm at. I think that's the biggest problem. You
Mhm.
know, so we didn't do much advertising the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. We didn't do, even pre-COVID, we weren't doing much advertisement. We are doing some now, but it's, I don't know if that's where my money should be going or I don't know. You know more about this than I do.
Mhm. Okay.
So, um,
And what's your kind of goal, Juan, with it? Is it to grow it to like 5 million? Is it to, make it more passive and get a general manager? What's sort of like the goal that you want?
my ultimate goal, and it's really simple. I just don't want to struggle for work. I'm comfortable where we're at. I mean, obviously, if we get to 5 million, 6 million, it's fine. Um, but we're not there. I think we're going to be like at 2.5 this year. Last year we were at 2.9. Um, COVID, we were in the threes, but like I said, that's COVID. That's something that I don't think is very hard to get to. I think getting to my 100,000. Because I work for Valley Crest. I don't know if you're familiar with Valley Crest. It's a huge corporation. Spent 12 years there. So when I left, I was making 50, 60,000 a year. So making that on my own was really easy. You
Mhm.
know, um, Getting it to 100 was really easy. 200 was really easy. Even once I got to the million mark, to me, it seemed really easy. It's been since 2009. So, I mean, it's been a few years, but it seemed like I got there really easy. It seems like to get over the 2, 3 hurdle mark, I find it like extremely difficult. And I don't know if because my energy's kind of gone down a little bit or what, but it seems like it's almost impossible to get it up any further, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, it's very common once you hit around 10 to 12 employees, regardless of the revenue, to kind of hit that plateau of like something in the organization has to change if you're going to continue to scale. And so like
Yeah,
my big thing is like, do we want to scale or do we just want to book ourselves out so far where it's just like, look, we raise prices, we optimize profits, and we don't necessarily aren't trying to grow, but we need a more from what I'm hearing, we want a more dependable lead source to ensure that we
correct.
not always like wondering where the next job's at.
Yeah, yeah. And we stay, I mean, this month has been pretty tough, but we're still staying somewhat busy. I think next week it seems like really slow for us. You know, we've been staying pretty consistent with the two crews. We were running three up into January, and then January we were running three, but 4 days a week. So then I made the decision to, hey, let's cut it back down to two, so the guys that we do keep could continue to work their 40 hours.
Mhm.
But now it's getting to, okay, well, now we're doing the two crews, and it seems like this is going to be the first week that we might have to run it 4 days. You
Got it.
know, so tomorrow we really don't have nothing on the schedule. I mean, I have little things here and there that I need to tighten up and I got to take care of, but nothing that's really like was sold. Because I told Jeremiah, which is the gentleman who helped me in sale, I told him, hey, just leave everything and push it for next week so we can at least get 4 days next week.
Yep.
You
Okay.
know, so
Okay.
and then another problem too. I mean, I think it is. I think mainly it's me. I think I'm the problem. You know, I hate to say it, but I feel like in your organization, if something's going terribly wrong, like you know, you may not catch it right away, depending on how big you guys are. You may not catch it right away, but if it gets big enough to where it gets to you, then I feel that you're the problem. You know, because you didn't do nothing about it. You didn't address it, right?
Mm-hmm.
um like for example, we have this gentleman who's working for us, but he does a lot of side work, and I feel like there's a huge conflict in that, him doing side work and him working for us, you know. But I also have a hard time letting him go because I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't have a full-time job, and you know, I think I care too much, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to stop caring about the business, about the people in general, and care more about the business.
Yeah, like one thing it might be something to consider too on at the current size of the business is like, does it need a general manager that will come in and be less emotional about the operations of the company? And
100%.
so,
It needs it. It needs it
yeah,
because I'm too emotional on it, and I'm too, like, for example, they're out of sick days. I'll tell her go to the office, just pay 'em for the day because I feel bad, right?
hmm,
Versus you being my general manager, let's say you're like, sorry, dude, you only work 4 days. What am I supposed to do,
yeah, no,
right? So
yeah, like
okay,
like at your
go on.
current size, if you can say go from 2.5 to say 3.5 by you focusing on everything besides operations. Like I feel like right now you have admin, you have sales, and you're basically serving as the operations person. And
And I'm not doing a
so
good job at
and you just got to get someone in there that is
it. Yeah,
incentivized on profitability, right? And they're
right,
going to be much more by the book. They're going to be create standard operating procedures. They're going to be much more rules and regulations. But the reason you don't do that is because you don't want to feel like the bad guy. Whereas what you do is you hire someone that is strong in operations and they're incentivized to ensure that you're profitable. And
right,
then by you delegating probably what is 60, 70% of your day, you're then going to go focus on growing the business. Things like optimization of the website, upselling existing customers, turning a $10,000 job into a $20,000 job. Like these are the things that you are going to be really good at. And then you focus on the two things. One, strategic growth like that. And secondly, leadership of the team. Because now you're going to have an admin person, you're going to have an operations person, and you're going to have a salesperson. That leadership team needs cultivating. You'll have to step in
right.
occasionally and be like, hey, you could do this better on the sales. Hey, you could do this better on the admin side. Hey, the operations side, this could be tweaked. But now you step away from the business, act much more like an architect than the builder, the manager in the building.
Right. Yeah, that makes 100% sense, and and that's something that I hear you a lot on your videos mention. You know, stepping away, so you can do other things. And honestly, like I'll be flat out honest with you, right? I don't do nothing all day. Generally, I don't do anything,
Yeah.
and a lot of that is my mental health. I think the last year or 2 years, I think it's my mental health, or am I using that as a crutch of saying, oh, it's my mental health. It's my mental health. Like it
Hmm.
got to the point where I don't even want to go to Home Depot. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I'll send one of my guys, hey, can you pick this up at Home Depot for me? Hey, can you
Hmm.
do this? So I'm forcing myself this year, like me taking this call from you or dealing with this. Like I'll be flat out with you. I thought I scheduled it whenever it was last time, but I guess it didn't go through. But I wanted to reschedule because something came up, but that something that came up was in my head. It
Hmm.
wasn't something that came up that I had to be somewhere or do
Hmm.
something, right? So I,
Hmm.
I think it's fighting through that is my biggest problem.
Hmm.
Um, which I think
Do you think Juan that's like in like a outside of work thing, like other issues that you're dealing with, or do you think that is like in the business there's just things you don't want to do, you've been doing it for a long time and you're burnt out?
I think it's the business that it's burned out. I love. I've been married for a long time. I've been
Hmm.
with I'm 42. I've been with my wife since I was 15. So we've been
Wow.
together for a long time. We have three kids, and then two more we had little ones. So we have a 27-year-old and we have a 5-year-old. So I
Wow.
mean, at home, I'm the happiest. I have the best supportive wife. If I go out right now and spend $100,000 on a car or whatever, she won't tell me anything. And I think that's maybe the problem too. She'll be like, "I like it, thank you. It's nice." She says, "It's nice," you know. So she's really supportive. You know, whatever I want to
Yeah.
do in life, she's super supportive. So it's not at home, you know.
Yeah.
And then honestly, the person at the phone is my daughter.
Hmm.
So she answers all the phones.
Hmm.
The gentleman who does our sales, his name is Jeremiah. He's my son-in-law. So he married
Got
my
it.
daughter. So and he was just working with me before he even married my daughter. We kind of grew up in church together. So
Cool.
I known him since he was, you know, a year old, 2 years old. I kind of known him throughout the years. And then as teenagers, and then, you know, obviously he started working for me, and then he had interest for my daughter. So that worked out. Other than that, those are the only two family members I have working for me.
From your perspective, Juan, like what do you look forward to in the business? Like so daily operations, like do you like team meetings? Do you like training your son-in-law and your daughter? Like do you like seeing them succeed? Like what's the thing like that like outside of the money, what's the thing you
Uh-huh.
enjoy about the business? Like I know like right now you're burnt out on it. What part do you
Yeah,
enjoy?
it's going out there, seeing my guys happy, smiling, and seeing my equipment. I don't know why I'm big on my equipment. I'm one of those persons who bought way too much equipment and don't really need it right now. But I also, I also have a hard time getting rid of it now. I like going out there and making sure that they're happy. Like I cook
Yeah,
breakfast, I'll cook breakfast for them. That's what I like to do. You
cool.
know, it's not very productive. You know, it makes them
Yeah.
happy, but it's not very productive.
It's also huge for attention. I would imagine a lot of your crew has stayed with you for a long time.
I've had,
Um,
yeah, I got some guys like 3, 4 guys that have been with me for over 10 years.
right. So like I think there's definitely value. It's hard to attribute profit and loss value to keeping the crew happy. But like if that's the thing that turns you on, and like right now you hate no, let's just go hate the day-to-day operations, going to
Yeah,
Home Depot. We got to find a general manager. We got to find someone or an operations manager, really. Someone that
right,
when things are going wrong in the field, they call that person. And the difference for me when I think operations manager, I think when things go wrong and when people want to call out, who do they contact? And if that's you right now, that's why you constantly feel this way, is because you resent the fact that when as you grow the business, you get more jobs, you get more customers, it just creates more stress for you that you do not enjoy. There's more
right,
runs to the Home Depot, there's more complaints, there's more issues, there's more problems, more people calling out and saying, "Hey, I can't work today," and you giving them money for free and then feeling jilted on the back end.
right, right. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, right now Jeremiah takes the blunt of it,
Hmm.
which is a sales guy, and I've always been Jeremiah should just worry about sales. His
Hmm.
goal should be sales. They shouldn't be bothered by, hey, I can't come in tomorrow, which they're gonna call Jeremiah before they call me right now. And
Got
that's
it.
because I was absent for like 6 months. I had a little motorcycle accident. Um,
Hmm.
and I was out for 6 months because I physically couldn't do it, physically, and then it got to mentally I couldn't do it. So Jeremiah really, that's when he stepped in doing 99% of the sales. Before he was doing maybe 40% of the sales, and I was doing 60% of the sales. Um, and then he stepped in, took a huge. I mean, without him, you know, I wouldn't be here today because you know he carried the company for about a year or so. You know,
Hmm.
so yeah, he takes a big burden of that. And I've always said, like, dude, all you should worry about is sales. You're a sales guy. And I think it's a problem. He's not commission based. So he's salary based. He's at about 115, almost 120. And he's just a good worker. You know, he really is. He's not
Yeah.
gonna take advantage of anything, you
Yeah,
know?
like what I think you might want to do, Juan, is because like I think that the benefit of getting him not to do any operation, like when I hear them contacting him, he is acting as a general manager. That's what
He
he
is.
is,
He is.
right?
He is.
And so I think if we want to be able to allow him to focus on sales, we simply need to delineate what is operations and what is sales. So if we look at three functions of the business, we have admin, operations, and sales. Right now, he's doing sales and operations. I would
Yeah.
try to delineate that and say, hey, let's write all the things you do. Here's the operations, here's sales. I want you to focus on the sales part because I happen to believe that if you loosed up 25, 30% of his day that's currently being ate up on operations and the crew
Uh-huh.
calling out and all this stuff. If you really cut that off of his schedule, even if it means promoting, this is an idea, and I don't know who this individual is that's doing the part-time work. If you say, hey, let's have this honest conversation around the fact that you're doing work outside the company, it's probably hurting us. You're not going to say that. You're just thinking that. You're going to say, hey, do you want to be my operations manager? It would require you to not do outside work, but like, would you be able to do that? I'm not saying that's who we should be because
Right,
you would
right.
know them well, but like, if you're able to do that, Jeremiah then focuses on sales exclusively. I think that's what takes the business to the next level in terms of of revenue and his number of like leads. Because right now his attention is too split. He's trying to lead a team of 12 people and try to do sales. We find once you cross 8 people, that general manager role starts to need to be split up. You need to
Yeah.
have a sales, operations, and an admin person. And so, in my opinion, once you cross 7 people in the field, once you get the 8, 9, 10, now there's 9 in the field, 1 person in the office, and these are large scale projects. There's so much operations. If he could cut that out and then just focus on sales. And this is the thing. I think that once he does that, he's able to focus more on upselling. He's able to
Yeah.
focus more on like pitching existing customers, past customers. Like if someone did a job a year ago and we're not pitching them every 3 months on a different type of service, that's a huge sales opportunity. But right now he's not doing that because he's busy doing operations.
Yeah. And he doesn't do that. You know why? Because I never train him to do that. Because I would go to a customer's house and I'm not the type of guy who would be like, hey, I see this tree needs to work. We'll do it for an extra 250. And like I know I should push those more because that's at the end of the night, we're already there, the crew's already there. That's an extra two, three, four, $500. Like we should push those a lot more. And I just don't because I feel like I'm being pushy with our customers. And some customers need to be pushy. Like you need to push them. I'm one of those customers. Like if I want to do something and if they don't push me, I will make a decision. I'll just not do anything.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, and
So
then what you do, Juan, is you take your admin, you take your sales, and you take your operations heads. So that's how we look at it. It's like 3 different departments. We have sales, operations, and admin. You put heads of each of those departments, and then you give them very good profit sharing. Even if it's 30% of the profits and you get 10% to each, for example, you could adjust this however you need to.
right.
But like now, when they see 5 chipper trucks and 2 of them being used, the salesperson knows that if he can just get those trucks in operation and by using upsells and getting more leads, that's like 60, 70% profit because you just have to pay for the cost of goods sold, which is the labor.
Yeah.
And so this is the type of thing that right now there's no incentive for them to fill the trucks. There's no incentive for him to upsell. And so we like a salesperson without any sort of commission base is like almost useless.
I
And if
know. Yeah.
and like he cares a lot because he's related to you. He's a hard worker, but he's also involved in operations. I would be like, well, you are going to sell, and now you're going to have your base salary of 110 or whatever it is. But anything in addition to this, you can. The sky's the limit. You get 10% of profits, or even potentially say anything above 2.5 million in revenue, you're getting a percentage of. Now all of a
Right.
sudden he's very incentivized to grow the business and get more leads. I would probably just say based on bottom line profits, so you can speak to your leadership team the same language. They all 3 are just constantly thinking about profits.
Yeah, yeah. See, because the guys too, like for example, if they get an extra job, like there's no commission for them. There's nothing for them. So what they do, oh, here, call the office. Instead of, hey, Jeremiah, I got this tree, send you a picture. How much do they want for it? You know, and I think that's a problem, you know, and it's not because I want to be greedy with the money. I just don't. I just how do you put those things in place though, for example? Like how do you know what's fair to give the crew, you know, let's say they got an extra job for $400. I don't know what's fair. I think of if I gave them, let's say, $30 each, let's just say, right? I'm like, 30 bucks, man, I think of that's nothing. What am I gonna do with 30 bucks? But I have to keep realizing like that's not my $30. That makes a huge difference for them. That's their lunch for the day, for the week, however they want to do it. I'm thinking of $30. What's the $30 do for the company? It doesn't do anything.
Once you incentivize Jeremiah, like, and he's thinking more about like capacity of the trucks, profitability, etc., he will come up with these ideas. Like
Ah,
this is why like having someone just focus on sales and then giving them any sort of incentive on profitability is so important because like you don't need to come up with the ideas. You just need to incentivize and put workhorses in place.
he
Like
needs to figure it out because he's getting the profit out of it. He's getting incentivized for it. Okay, I
and
see what you're saying.
he knows what he can afford. He knows if it's a $500 job, I can afford X amount. And like I would encourage like when it comes to that time, you make it simple for the guys. Like, hey, look, guys, if someone wants an extra job, you send me a video, and if they accept it, you make $50. I'm gonna give it to you
Yeah.
in cash at the next team meeting. And so what we would do is we'd have stacks of cash at the next team meeting, and we're just handing, okay, you got review, you got an upsell, you got a new customer, and like it creates this culture of we upsell, and like
Ah,
our crew out in the field of salespeople. We're getting
yeah.
reviews, and then we're reading the reviews off that mentioned a certain crew member. We're talking about a certain upsell of so and so that sold an extra $1,000 job, and we're just handing out cash. And I'm going to take the
Right.
hit. I'm going to take the hit on taxes. I don't care. I want that
Yeah.
culture of cash being handed out at team
Yeah.
meetings because an
Yeah.
extra couple $100 on their paycheck doesn't mean anything. But $200 being given to them at a team meeting in front
Yeah.
of their peers, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And it's so true because we just I got some writing on here, but you see, we just did these. Literally, I just got them in the mail today. I ordered them from Vistaprint. They came in the mail on Monday or Tuesday, and we already got 2 reviews.
Yep.
So and we got like 300 reviews, I think, online already on Google. So this just added 2 this week. And I told the guys, hey, it's $20 per crew. You come back with the review, you guys get $20 and we'll figure out how to split it between you 3. So yeah, I think doing those things, it's working. You know, and I'll be flat out 100% honest with you. I'm the problem because all these ideas that you're telling me, like I have all these already in my head, but it's like I can never execute them. It's like the guy who says, I'm gonna work out tomorrow, I'm gonna work out tomorrow, I'm gonna work out, and you never work out.
I think the big thing though is one, is because like I don't think it's your strength. And like you built a really big business based upon the fact that like you just like love the guys, you do great work, and
Yeah,
you care a lot. And so I
yeah,
would just lean more into that and less on like operations and sales. You have a
yeah,
really, really good salesperson that cares deeply about you and for the business.
yeah,
Huge
yeah,
win. Incentivize him so you can pay him $180,000 because he grew a $5 million business for you. Right.
yeah,
And you just incentivize it. You say, I'll give him 10%. Like you want your 3 heads of department, sales, operation, admin, to always just think about one thing, profitability. That way, they're constantly protecting the bottom line. And then you go spend your day meeting up with the guys, giving them an extra ice cream, being at the shop when everyone's there, doing barbecues, doing like that's what your jam
right,
is. You're the
yeah.
retention, you're the mascot. Like you would think of yourself as the mascot of the
Yeah, that's
business.
exactly what I do. I'm serious. Like that's what I like to do. The guys get here and like, hey man, there's some sodas in the ice chest. Hey man, I got the elote guy, the guy who sells the ice creams. He's coming over today for you guys. Hey, tomorrow don't eat. Make sure you have a light lunch because I'm cooking tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just like
Like
trying
you
to pump
just
the
do
guys
that.
out.
And then like you dropping it on job sites. And then all of a sudden you start dropping on job sites. Okay, you're not worried about going to Home Depot. You're gonna go talk with the customer and you sell them a massive job. You sell the
Yeah,
neighbor because you're there. You're just around. You're the
yeah,
mascot. You're the guy that is just like everyone's happy to see. The crew loves you. They don't bring their problems to you. They're not asking you for time off because they know they need to go to the operations person. And so
right.
like you've built the business to the size where and the profitability where you can do this. And furthermore, I believe you'll be more profitable and financially successful by letting like giving away some of the profits. So like at my locations, for example, over 50% of the profits now are going to either the team, general manager, or regional manager.
Right.
And it's because like I'm never there. I need to focus on other things. And so if your focus is going to be, I'm going to be on like the mascot. Like I would literally name yourself like you are the mascot. You're like that
Right.
would be your role. And like so if there's a big initiative around sales, like well that's Jeremiah's problem.
Yeah.
The guys don't know they've got to figure out the HR software system. Oh well, that's operations and admin. So you guys have you report back to me. But now they're all incentivized around profitability, so you're not worried about people taking advantage of you.
Right, right. Now let me ask you this: like when it comes to Jeremiah, like right now, right? He says we're slow right now. He does some door knocking, right? So wherever the crews are working, he's knocking on some doors just because he didn't fill out his day, right? But when he has a full day, most of those leads come from the phone at the office or previous customers, right? So how do I get Jeremiah? What I'm trying to say is, where do I find the difference at on when to pay him when he gets new leads, or do we just look for a dollar amount a month and then give him a bonus from there? Or how would I structure that?
I'm a big fan at your size, unless you're going to go to multiple locations, et cetera, to simply give him bottom line profit percentages.
Okay.
Because if you give him just top line revenue, you will get more leads, you will get more jobs. He will do a better job of upselling, he'll do a better job of cross selling, all of the above. But you won't make any money. And now you start watching his back because you're like, well, what are these jobs actually profitable? Now the crew's not able to hit budget hours. Now the scheduling gets behind because he didn't put enough hours on the job because he underbid it. So like you don't have to want to worry about perverse incentives. It's like don't do based on revenue. Don't do based on
Right.
jobs. Just do hey, bottom line profits. Because this is the thing. If he can fill the trucks that are currently not being used, you are literally going to make 50 to 70% profit on those jobs. Because you
Yeah.
already have the truck, you already have the equipment, you're already paying for the insurance. It's locked and loaded.
Yeah, I am paying for it. And I'm getting tired of paying for the insurance for these trucks that don't sit there. And I would say 90% of our equipment's pretty much paid for. And I mean, we
Make it
got
his
some.
problem, right?
Yeah.
Like make it very now your leadership meetings is simply instruction of like, okay, so the 3 trucks we aren't using out there, they're paid off. We're paying insurance on them. If we go get a job and we pay say 20% or 25% of our revenue goes to wages, we're 70% profitable in these jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do we do to do that? We don't want to spend a bunch of money on marketing. I think the biggest opportunity for you, Juan, is going to be like, how do we email and text customers when we're not as busy? Like, for example, next week, I would be taking what's the service right now that everyone's needing? Great. I'm going to email the 1,000+ people in my database, and I'm going to get 10 or 15 estimates tomorrow. Now, the
Yeah.
salesperson, the reason that those ideas are not being implemented is because one, you don't really need the money. You're okay with it.
Yeah.
Two, Jeremiah is not incentivized to push the envelope.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
incentivized to make sure you're comfortable and you are comfortable. So right now he's doing a great job. You just simply need to give him the incentive to make more money.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that makes tons of sense. So do it more on the profitable side of it versus just the top line of it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to your employees, I hear you mention a lot that PPP, right? Pay per performance.
Mhm.
How would I incorporate that into a three man, like let's say a tree crew?
hmm Yep. So what I would do is if so let's just say there's a $5,000 job. We're going to assume that people get different percentages of the labor revenue. All
Okay.
right. So with trees, you have very wide variety of skill level. You have arborists, you have people in the tree, you have people just dragging branches. So
Right.
you'd have different base pays and percentages of compensation for different levels in the company. So you might have a level one, a level two, and a level three of different base pay because you got to have a
Okay.
certain base pay to like get an arborist. You're not going to get an arborist for $18 or $20 an hour base pay.
Right.
Can't happen. So you're like, hey, what's the base? But then what you're also tracking, but really what all P4P is, I'm tracking their base pay. Then I'm also tracking the percentage of revenue that is earned to them by pay for performance. So the more revenue they make, the more money they make. Now, if they're split up
Right.
on a job, though, you can have different base pays and different percentages that go to them. So an arborist might be 40 bucks an hour base plus 25% or 30% of revenue. Great. And then I'm going to be doing lower levels for
Or
my
the
group on the
right,
ground.
the ground and stuff like that. Right, right. That makes tons of sense. See, and right now, I think the problem that we have, right, and that I would see coming up with this would be like, for example, like the job that one of the crews did. They started, it's a 3 day job. I think realistically, they could have finished it yesterday. Right, it's a $12,000 job. They could have finished it yesterday. It had $6,000 a day, right? So instead, they went back out there today and they only had a $4,000 day, right? But because a lot of that too is like right now, like how can I incentivize them to finish the job in 2 days when the following day they may not work?
I don't think anyone's going to complain if you paid them the same amount you would have paid for yesterday and today. But see, there is no incentive for them to work less. They make more money the longer the job takes.
So would it make more sense? Okay, let's just say, for example, right, having two $6,000 days and then giving them almost enough to where they're home the next day because they finished it early and they still kind of got paid.
Yeah, 100%. Because like right
How
now,
would
say for example, let's just say for example, you do this 3 day job. There is, let's just say it's $15,000, and let's say
it's 12? It's
five that.
exactly 12.
Okay, great. So 12,000. Let's assume 4,000 of that is going out to wages. Okay. What we do with P4P is to say you're getting paid $4,000 in this job, regardless if it takes you 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or an entire week. You're getting paid $4,000. And so now it's just up to them to beat it. Now, would they rather just finish the job early and have tomorrow off? Yes, because I get paid the same amount.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. If you're looking at that, yeah, me too. I'll be like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna get paid anyways.
Right now you're thinking very much in terms of I need to fill the crew's schedule. That's why
Yeah.
also what leads to inefficiencies because you're like, oh, we're not really busy. I'll just let them kind of take their time, like whatever. Well, if you were stacked up with work and you're like, I need these guys to get jobs done, and then they're incentivized to get more jobs done, all of a sudden you would find they would increase efficiency about 25 to 30%.
Yeah, yeah, because every time we have like a little party here or we have something, everybody finishes early, or
Yeah.
Friday, everyone finishes early, and I get it, because I was in the crew for a long time, so I know how it goes. I know what it's like when your boss calls you at 3 o'clock. Hey, there's this emergency job you got to go do. You go
Yeah.
do it, but you're not happy about going to go do it. Because it's Friday and
Yeah,
you want to go home.
and right now they're probably not happy when on a Tuesday they get off at 1 o'clock and it's like, man, we didn't have enough work today. Well, they wouldn't care so much if they just completed 15 hours of work in 5 hours and got paid for 15.
Yeah. See, and this is what I mean. Like, they're too nice. Like yesterday, for example, a crew, three-man crew came in at 2 o'clock and they got paid till 3:30. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then yeah, they're out there cleaning this, doing that, and then some people are, you can see they're not doing much, but
Which is the thing, Juan, that is a very nice thing to do. The challenging part is there is no system as to how that is doled out, whether
yeah,
they got paid not or not. And so what happens, especially once you start getting less involved in operations, is people start to think that people are playing favorites. Because like, well, they
yeah,
got rounded up to 3:30. Well, why am I not getting rounded up to 3:30 today? And so you just want to create a system for being kind. You want to be like for the care that you have for the team, you need to systematize it. Like you want to pay them well, you want them to be paid fairly, you want them to work efficiently. Like you just need to create a system for that care. Because right now the care is literally just like whether or not you want to give it to them.
right, right. Yeah, that's basically what it comes off to, because some guys who, not that I don't like, but I don't feel like they deserve, when they're sick and like you call in too much, I'm not gonna pay you. You know what I mean? They don't get paid for it. And other ones
Cor-
are like,
So you create a
you can
system
pay
around it,
for it.
right? So it's like,
Yeah,
look, now them not showing up actually has a benefit, has an impact on their paycheck. So for example, I give 10% of my profits to my crew out in the field. If they don't show up to work though, if they call out or if they're late one time in a quarter, that gets halved. If they do it twice, that's gone. So now instead of like being like, I don't like this guy, I like this guy, they do good. I'm like, hey, if you want to work harder, great, you'll make more money. If you don't,
yeah,
you'll make less money, and eventually no one will want to work with you because you're
yeah.
not efficient.
And you get fired. Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
these are the type of systems that like once you get out of operations and you allow then Jeremiah to be focused on sales, because I genuinely believe your biggest unlock here, Juan, is contacting previous customers via email and
We don't
text
contact
message.
any of them.
Because
None.
I bet you have thousands. Like how many in your database? Do you know?
Tons. But the problem, see, I don't have, what do you call it when something grabs all your emails and saves everything?
CRM.
I don't have that. So I use Invoice to Go. So Invoice to Go
Oh,
does have everything, but I manually have to go and look for every single one of them.
yeah, no.
I know.
Like,
So that's to me, that's a huge problem. Like I wish I could
yeah,
just go through a list and be like, hey, we did that tree, that tree. I don't have that. And we have, I
yeah.
mean, I've been doing this since 2012. So I've been using Invoice to Go since 2012 because I tried switching to Jobbers, but
Mhm.
Invoice to Go obviously won't give me all that information because
Yeah,
they know I'm going somewhere else and I'm not paying them their
yeah,
$900, $1,200 a year, whatever it is that they charge,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, the
So
challenging part is they don't do like the email, the text. Like you can't mass text your customers.
no,
Because like
no.
if
So
you
what
did that right now to the thousands of customers, you would get leads through your like you would not be spending money on marketing. Because you
we're
have
spending right
thousands
now.
and
I don't know what's a lot, but on Google right now we're spending about $8,000 on Google through Google Ads is what we're spending. Yeah,
per
a month, a month. Yeah, that's what we're spending, and we're not
one,
swamped. I know.
one, one,
Seems
one,
ridiculous. We were
one.
doing Yelp, $1,600 on Yelp, right?
Yeah,
And Yelp, it's not for tree people because most
yeah,
people are going there for restaurant reviews, this and that.
yeah,
But I do like the reviews, so I said, hey, just cut it back down to $300 a month. So at least we're on there. At least we have the reviews. But
yeah.
yeah, it's about $8,000 a month through Google. Is what we're spending.
One,
It's
one, one,
crazy.
one. Yeah, you like, yeah, like I would task your daughter with figuring out what's the best software for you all. And the thing
Mhm.
I would be thinking about is not that how it invoices or estimates. I'd be thinking about what is its mass email and mass text capabilities. Because if
Yeah,
you're able to tap into that, you will not spend a dollar in marketing. I would guess you have 5,000 customers you've served. And I would guess that if you send out an upsell to them once a month, just an email about, hey, this like something in the news or like a local tree, something going on or fire prevention or whatever, you just pitch that once a month and you're gonna get 10, 15, 20, 30 new jobs from it. Like, so like there's Jobber. Jobber doesn't do mass email or mass text. But it does integrate with something like MailChimp. So MailChimp would be another idea. Like if you didn't want to switch to a different CRM
so
or
jobbers,
back,
and what's the other one you said?
there's Jobber. There's the challenging part with Jobber, and this is the part that I would be careful of, is you're gonna have to also integrate with MailChimp because they don't do mass text and mass email.
Uh-huh.
So you really could potentially get away with going to MailChimp. Now you're gonna be looking at $4,000 or $5,000, probably $400 to $500 a month if you're gonna mass email and mass text through MailChimp. I'm completely biased. We have Copilot CRM. We do mass texting and mass emailing through that. You're looking around $300 a month. So
Is
it's
the
just like,
Copilot yours?
yes,
That's your system that you guys used in place that you came up with.
yes.
Okay.
And so like that's an option. There's Service Autopilot, there's Aspire. Like at your size, I would rather you spend $500 a month on software than $8,000 a month to Google. Because furthermore, like everything he's doing right now in Google Calendar should all be in one spot. So like everything should be going in where your admin person can see what they're doing. They can track every single estimate invoice on one customer profile, then track the monthly automations that you send out to customers. So for example, if
Yeah.
someone gets a $10,000 job, we should have an automation to send them 1 month after, 2 months after, 3 months after, and sell them other stuff. Ask
Yeah.
them for a review. Like all of that can get automated. There's no reason to have invoices to go. Google Calendar, and like I'm assuming like everyone like it's all over the place. And
Yeah.
furthermore,
Yeah.
right
We
now we're
have
not
different apps
messaging
for different
customers.
things. Yeah.
Right. All of that can go in one spot. I was with a
Right.
company last week over in Salt Lake City doing around 2 million. And like same thing, they had like one thing for the crew, one thing for FreshBooks was invoicing and estimates. Like we got to get it in one spot. That way you don't have to be there and you can see everything that's going on. Like there
Yeah.
should be no reason why, for example, Jeremiah can't be at the job site, attach a voice note, and then the admin person put together the estimate. Because now you have a very expensive person like Jeremiah being able to just do an estimate in 2 minutes. and make
Yeah,
a video,
which he
attach it.
does. He's
Cool.
got it that far because the girl at the office, she'll create the estimate. All he has to do is literally fill it in and send it. So
Perfect.
that saves him time. Yeah.
Yep, totally. And so I think getting a lot of these systems in one spot, the estimate, the invoicing, the marketing, that's the big piece. So like I would rather you just like if you're like, hey, I don't want to switch softwares because invoice to go is like hard to export out of. First off, I would just go do something like MailChimp, where all you do is import emails and phone numbers and you text blast an email. It's a little bit pricey and it's not connected, which I don't like because I'd preferably like it where you see everything. You go to a customer's profile and you see all the emails they've got. You see all the text messages they've got. That'd be the perfect spot. But I would task your daughter with this. Like she's gonna be the one that is in the software all the time. Tell her,
Uh-huh.
hey, here's the 3 or 4 options. I want you to go demo these out. I want you to see which one's gonna work the best. But what I would really, really emphasize is we want to focus on can we mass text and mass email our customers? Because I genuinely believe if you do that right now, you will wipe out your marketing budget. Like right now, $8,000, Juan, like let's just step back for a second. We'd rather give that to your daughter and to Jeremiah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't want to give it to Google.
So we give it and
Yeah.
incentivize them, right? It's like basically, hey, look, I don't want to spend this $8,000. I'd rather give that to all of you. To do that, we need to market to our existing database. Because I know this for a fact, Juan. When you send a monthly email or text message to your customers, you will get about 0.5% to 1% of them responding every single time asking for more services. Because you guys do a great job. You have tons of reviews, customers are happy. There's no reason why they aren't going to use you again, like once a year, twice a year. There's no reason whatsoever.
Let me ask you this real quick though. Now, like in the tree industry, right? Like it's hard like to upsell, like you do with maintenance. Because maintenance, you could be like, hey, we can redo this flower, but hey, we can rebark. Hey, we can do this. Hey, we can do that. With the tree industry is a little bit harder. Like what would I try to upsell to them? Gutter cleaning or window washing? I'm just saying, like, for example, like I'm not understanding that.
Because the customer you served 6 years ago needs the same service because their trees grew again. And so it's not
Oh,
necessarily that
okay.
you're looking for recurring. It's not even that you're upselling them, is that you're keeping them warm in your system. Because 5 years ago, they don't even remember environmental tree service.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But
A lot of them probably don't.
they will if you've kept them warm. So we would have
Ah,
customers where we served them 5 years ago. I send them an email, all of a sudden they accept a $20,000 job. I'm like, where have you been for 5 years? But we kept
yeah,
them warm. Every
yeah,
single month, you're sending them a text, you're sending them an email, you make it really easy. Like, and you can customize the email templates and the text is even very personal. So it's like, hey, it's Juan over environmental. Just want to say thank you again for that service. Hey, if there's anything you ever need from it again, hit us up. They'll get
yeah.
like a large open rate. You don't have to make it salesy. You don't have to make it pitchy. This month, we are focusing on, you name it, crepe myrtles
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
I
This
got
is
it.
what we're
I got
doing.
it. I see what you're saying there. Yeah. Or maybe even giving them like a little newsletter. Hey, it's, it's getting ready to summer. Make sure you guys are watering your trees properly. Just whatever to do with that. Hey, winter's
Exactly.
coming. Make sure your trees are safe. Go out there and look for any dead branches. I got it. I see what you're
Yep.
saying.
It's like, and then you know the certain trees at certain times of the
Yeah.
year have problems. So hey, this is
Yep.
the autumn gold ginkgo. This is the deodoric cedar. Like you just go through whatever problems are happening each month, and
Yeah.
it's just there's 50% off. Like if you're really busy or really really slow, and you give a promotion, you just fill your schedule for the whole week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. I see what you mean. And a lot of that just has to be more. Like I said, I have all these ideas. Like this has been in my head for months, and I
Yeah.
finally sat around and just did it.
So what you
And
do
got
is you
two
take this.
reviews in less than 2 days.
Totally. And so what you do is you take this recording, you're now going to give it to Jeremiah, you're going to give it to your daughter and say, hey guys, I want to do these. I want to do sales, operation, admin. I'm going to have a department head of each of those. I'm going to give you all a percentage of profits every single quarter of the whole business. I would rather pay you than Google. To make this happen, we're going to need more leads. To get more leads, we're going to need to get software that is going to be able to mass message and mass text our customers to get leads pouring in. So Jeremiah's fully busy with sales. And then we're going to get someone else to handle the operations. So that's not even what he's think about. Instead of doing 5 or 6 estimates a day, he's going to do 10 or 15 because that's
Yeah,
all he's going to do is sales. That's how the
yeah,
business grows. But more importantly, you focus back on what you love doing. Because now
yeah,
when you have 12 guys and they're all 30% more efficient because they're getting paid on performance, and you're like, well, how is that going to work? Your operations person will think about P for P. You don't need to worry about it. You simply say,
yeah,
hey, look, they're gonna be like, hey, boss, like, how do I make these guys work harder? This is a problem. Like, well, I've heard about this thing for how P for P. Think about it. Like, look into it. They'll come up with the systems because now they're incentivized based upon the fact that the difference between them not figuring that out and figuring out is 20 or $30,000 in their paycheck.
yeah, yeah. I think the problem is that I think like Jeremiah, my daughter, my wife, like a lot of people, like they look at me for these answers a lot of the times because we didn't have nothing growing up. We still don't have much now, but like I'm probably the one that's doing the best around my circle, right? Like I don't have friends like you know. I don't have a friend like doing way better than me because I'm very homebody. I'm more into my family. So all these people look at me like I know all the answers, and I feel like a lot of times I'm carrying all this weight for everybody, and like I can't keep carrying this load. I told my daughters like, one of you two need to figure it out because I'm tired of carrying the load. That's what I tell them jokingly, but sincerely, like I mean it because like where my daughters live, like we bought that house for them, where our office is, we bought that property. The cars my daughters drive, we bought them for them. Like I feel like I'm carrying all this load, and like I tell them in so many ways, like I need some help. Like I can't carry all this loads. And that's when I was like, okay, well, I gotta just start talking to people to help me out. I reached out to you. I've been doing a lot of, I'll always listen to podcasts, and I guess you call them motivational videos, I guess is what you call them, and
Mhm.
they do help me, but they only help you for a short span, and then they're just like, like I hear this a million times. Like I need some real world stuff. And I
Mhm.
feel like that was you. Like he's real world. Like I see these videos. Like he deals with this stuff. Maybe not directly under but one of your franchise. Like you're dealing with it. So that was one of my biggest reasons to reaching out to you. Was like, okay, I think he's going to get a lot more than a lot of these people who are just are trying to get famous on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever. That's really the way I feel like they are,
Mhm.
like they're not really educational. Like they're trying to sell you a course is what I felt like the most, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, like I think the distinction the challenging part you're running up to right now, Juan, is you're switching from manager to architect, and that's a painful process. The architect steps away from the building; they are not inside building. They step away and they get resources to the building. Hey, let's hire this contractor. Let's get more material. Like they're away from the building, but then what the key here is getting a leadership team in place.
Yeah,
Leadership that is going to do the doing, and so
yeah,
you can step back and be the leader. And like the most effective thing that you will do in a year or two when the business is say doing 3.5 and you have these leadership teams, the most important thing you'll do is train those leaders. The second most important thing you'll do is inspire your team. I happen to
yeah,
think you'll do really good at those, and you'll light you up. You'll enjoy that process. The whole right now, like chasing invoices and estimates, figuring out who's clocking in and out, who's taking advantage of you. All this is minutia you do not need to worry about, and it's bogging you down from doing these two things really well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that. That's a huge part of it, And I feel like, yeah, like you said, we have someone in sales already. We got someone already at the office. It's just that supervisor, and we've been talking about it for. Honestly, we tried it with one of our guys that moved up, and I promoted him because I felt like he's helped. He's been with me since day one. His English isn't the best, and I felt like I owed it to him, but I knew from the beginning he wasn't good at it because his English isn't there. He can communicate with the customer, but when a customer's upset, the last thing he's trying to do is deal with someone who can't speak the language perfectly,
Mhm.
So I knew he wasn't going to work out, and he did it for like 6 months. He was great to motivate the guys to get the jobs done faster, but when it came to talking to somebody, the customers, it wasn't him. And I feel bad bringing in, let's say, like you, for example, as our supervisor, when we have guys here who've been here longer, but they're not qualified for that. And I have a hard time telling them, sorry, man, you're not qualified for it. You don't speak the proper language or this or that. I feel really bad saying that. And I think that's what held me back from hiring a supervisor. How
Mhm.
can I overcome that? Or how can I, like, a way not to feel guilty about it? Or, you know what I mean?
So there's two ways you can do it. One, if you want to solve the problem fast, you have a conversation with the team as to why you are getting someone from the outside. Okay, that's like the fast way to fix it. The longer term is, hey, the guys, next year, 2026, we're hiring an operations manager. And if you would like that position, you can have a one-on-one with me tomorrow morning for 15 minutes, and I will tell you what you need to do to change in order to get that position. Because right now, there's no one here that's qualified, and I would rather hire from inside the company. I would rather move people from inside the company, but right now, no one has the skills. So if you're willing to take critical feedback, I will give you what you need to do to hit that position. And then there's going to be people in front of you who will say, "Hey, I need you to take an ESL. I need to take English as a second language course." Like
Yeah.
if you figure that out, you're gonna be able to get this position. Or I need to figure out certain training techniques better. Like I need you to be able to do the roping. Like whatever it is,
Yeah.
you would have
Yeah.
those conversations. And then if no one steps up, you have full license to go hire someone next spring
Yeah.
outside the company.
Yeah, but see, right now I'm more to the point where I want to do this now. I've been
Mhm.
pushing things off. I've been pushing things off for the long time. I don't want to wait till 2026 to get a supervisor.
Good.
Even if
So
we go down to, let's say we go down to one crew because of the workload, I still want to make sure I have a supervisor in place. You know what I
yep.
mean? So I think I'd rather just go and bite the bullet. And if some of these guys get upset, then they might just have to get upset and leave. I guess that's the way I have to look at it. See, and like I have another employee, right, who only works 3 days a week because for some reason he was granted to take Thursdays and Fridays off. And I feel that's unfair for me because he's holding a full-time position for somebody who's really good. But this guy's also been with me for 12 years. So I have
Mhm.
a hard time saying, hey, either you work full time or you leave. But I
Mhm.
feel like he's taking advantage of it because he's growing his side thing, which I'm okay with that for him doing something on the side. But I feel like I'm helping him along and I'm hurting myself.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, like the bottom line is this talk conversation, what you're talking about, is draining you from the energy you need to be a great leader. And leadership is different than operations. And you're getting sucked into operations, and this problem is sapping so much energy from you that you're not being a great leader. And so
Yeah.
like that's just like the real and like right now, like you figuring this problem out is not your problem to solve. It is an
Yeah.
operations manager that should be dealing with this person, having a hard conversation, having a one-on-one, and figuring out the schedule. This is not your problem to solve. And because you're trying to solve it, it is draining you of energy and is therefore preventing you from being a good leader.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely drained me because I'm to the point like where, I have toys. I don't even use my toys.
Hmm.
I can go on vacation. Like literally, we have an RV. We haven't used it in a year and a half. It's just sitting
Hmm.
there. We even have a sprinter van. We haven't really even used it. I
Hmm.
can go to wherever, Lake Tahoe, Cancun, wherever I want to go, but yet here I'm sitting here in this office.
Yeah.
Because everything seemed like it's just sucking the life out of me. And you're right. It's because I'm keep putting, like when they say stress is only caused for things that you didn't take action on. So I feel
Yep.
like I like this whole thing 3 days. It's been going on for 2 3 years that it's just been stressing me and it's just bothering me up. Like I need to deal with it, and that's why I'm like I want to just deal with it now. I don't want to do this 6 months from now. I'm to the point where I want to take actions today. I want to take
Yeah.
action like today, not
Th-
tomorrow.
then what you can do to prevent making people mad in the company is you tie again incentives with all this, right? So for example, if I happen to believe that most of your team knows the fact that you can travel and you don't because you're just always at the office.
Yeah.
What you say is, hey guys, going forward, we're getting an operations person here, and I'm going to be giving now a percentage of the profits to the team every single quarter. The team's gonna make more money based on you guys working hard. I want to be able to give back to all of you. Now, to make that happen, I need someone to be able to handle operations. I'm going to be hiring Joe Blow from down the street. It's going to come in. He has 10 years of experience. He's going to come in. He's going to be starting with all of you out in the crew for the next 4 weeks to get assimilated, figure out what we're doing here. But he's going to become the operations manager. And so that's the fast way, right? But then you're
Right.
going to tie incentives. You're going to give 5, 10%, whatever you feel comfortable with of profits every quarter to the team out in the field.
Yeah, yeah, that makes tons of sense there. And that way they don't get their feelings hurt too much by me just bringing in, like you said, Joe Blow from down the street, because it's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to be some profit in for them. It's going to benefit them as well.
On a $3 million business, if they're 10% more efficient, you're making $300,000. You can afford to give them some more money and hire an operations manager.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I can always do that. And I think a lot of it is just holding myself a little more accountable and, pushing to it. So I think what we'll do too is like when we hang up, I'm going to book another meeting for you, but I'm not going to put it out maybe in a month
Few months.
because
Yep.
it's going to cost me money, right? For me to talk to you, but it's going to cost me some money. It's going to kind of hold me accountable too as well, and I get to pick your brain, like I got tons of notes that I've been writing down. I get to pick your brain and I can maybe not implement every single thing that you told me, but if I implement two of these things that you told me, it's going to be, a lot better. So I think my first step, you would say I need to first get all my systems into one place. That's number one, because I don't want to keep spending that money through Google. I feel like it's not even really even working. Like, and another guy too, like the guy who does my website, like I used him, but I don't feel like he's like the best. Like he put me onto Google Guarantee, right? But what happens when he switched me to Google Guarantee, for some reason, I don't know why Google suspended my page. So I lost everything, right?
Mm.
All my reviews, I lost everything. So I said, okay, there's no point on me spending money on ads if I can't be found nowhere online. So stop all the leads. And I think that's why we had a rough start to the year, because I paused everything till he got everything back. And he finally just got our Google page back.
Mm.
But our ranking is like, it's almost non-existent because
Mm.
I feel like we have to start all over again. So I feel like I
Mm.
need someone better. And he doesn't charge me much a month. I mean, he only charges me, it's like $800 a month is what he's charging me. So I
Mhm.
feel like it's like oh man, I lost you. Oh, there it goes. I
You're
feel
good.
like he's
You're.
not getting paid enough.
Mhm.
If you don't get
Mhm.
paid enough, I feel like you're not doing the best that you can. But I don't know. like you go to this online, right? And you look for, agencies and stuff. Like, which one of those do I trust? Which one of those do I pick? There's so many of them, you
Yeah.
know? How
Yeah.
how would I work towards that?
Yeah, so like these are small problems, right? I think like what I want to focus on now, because I think the website can be improved. I have a whole list of stuff I saw in here that can be improved. We can figure out later. Right now, that is a very small problem compared to the fact that you don't want to show up to work. And so, like, I think we should fix structural issue first, and then little things like sales, conversion rates, SEO. That's a thing down the road. Right now, we know we need to get customers in a database, whether it be Mailchimp, Copilot, Job, or anything that we can mass message our customers, because we know immediately we're going to unlock $8,000 a month that we're currently spending on Google, and we're going to be able to now give that to the team. And
Okay.
then we're going to establish an operations manager, whether it be internally
Okay.
or hiring someone. We're going to do an operations manager, and we're going to have a leadership team in sales, operations, and admin. You are not in any of those three roles. Anything that comes on your plate, you're asking yourself, is this a sales thing? Is this an operations or is this admin? And then you delegate it off to that person. You are the leader. You're the person that shows up in the morning. You show up at job sites. You're the one that rallies the troops, gets them excited. They love you. If they come to you about getting more paid time off, you go direct them to the operations manager. You do
Yeah.
not make that call. You are a leader. You are not an operations person. These are very different skills.
Yeah.
And then you incentivize those leadership. If you do those three things, we'll be a very different place in 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. So incentivize the first, start off with the leaders first.
Getting that operations manager, getting all of the contacts in one system that you can mass message customers so you don't have to pay Google. And third is incentivizing those leaders based upon profitability. If you do
Okay.
those three
Okay.
things, we can figure out the website. I can give you resources to that. No problem. We can figure out lead flow and Google reviews and pay for performance. But right now, we need you to show up to work and being happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then I'm gonna work on those three things, and I'm gonna book a call with you.
Anytime.
Yeah, and
No
then
worries.
probably within a month. What do you think would be realistically would be to book
Two
another
months.
call?
Two
Uh,
months.
2 months.
Two
So book
months.
another call in about 2 months, and then I might even do it sooner, to be honest. But
Hey,
then
if you get it done, if you get those three things done, let's go.
I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
You got it,
All right,
brother. We'll stay
take
in
care,
touch.
man. We'll be in
Yep.
touch. Bye bye.
We'll do. Bye bye.